Let's have a super casual chat about homeschool resolutions, intentions, goals, what have you. Okay, but as usual, let's get a sip of coffee. Grab your tea, your coffee, what have you. Water. Water's always a good choice. Sit down and chat with me as we try to ignore these crazy baby hairs. If you're new here, my name is Elena. I'm the homeschooling mama to 3 kiddos. Here on the channel, I talk about everything from homeschooling to homemaking, all the things in between. Today, though, we are going to talk about homeschooling and get into this fantastic homeschool collaboration hosted by Abby from Rooted in Rest and Jessica from the Waldock Way. And as you heard, we're going to talk about homeschool resolutions, or what I'm calling my homeschool intentions for the new year. I do a lot of goal type videos here on my channel. I usually go in at the beginning of the month and do kind of wrap up of the month before, and then what my goals or intentions for the new month coming up is. I just really like the word intentions because it's what I'm intending to do. It's what I'm hoping for, right? But the verse that I cling to a lot is, let me read it for you because I don't want to butcher it. The heart of a man plans his way, but the Lord establishes his steps. And that is Proverbs 16:9. And so for me, what that means is that I can make the plans, but I really need to tune in and see what the Lord has for me. And sometimes life gets lifey and you've got to kind of go with it. So if you watched our goals video for the upcoming year, you saw that this year what I'm doing is what I'm calling fluid goals, or that's how we are starting the year, with kind of more grace, room to breathe, setting smaller stuff so that we can build on that throughout the year. And that's kind of how I am attempting to get into our homeschool as well. We had a big move. Well, we had a move. It wasn't as big as when we moved out of state. So we moved a few months at the end of September. And it kind of shook our family a little bit more than I think I was expecting it to. It was a little harder to recover from it, and that included our homeschool. So going into the year, I'm kind of just looking at what's been working, what hasn't been working. It still kind of feels like we were playing catch up on a lot of things, and that whole feeling of trying to catch up to somebody or something, it just is unsettling. And so I'm going to kind of reframe our thinking and go into the new year, resetting our homeschool and looking at the things that maybe truly matter to us, not that those other things don't matter. But go into it looking at why we started this journey, a big chunk of where we started and why we started homeschooling and where we're at and why we're doing that. That being said, let's get into the nitty-gritty of it, shall we? So for us, we do a Bible study with the kids, and I noticed that has been hit or miss. And this year I went into it wanting to not just do the curriculum Bible study that we were doing. We are doing Apologia. I think I've mentioned that. I go through our curriculums, and I have videos here on the channel if you want to see more of that. I have a high schooler, a 9-year-old girl, and then a special needs son who is 7. And so those are kind of our age levels and grades here. But we are all doing the same Bible curriculum. But I also went into this year wanting to not just do our Bible study time with the curriculum, but also maybe taking a few days and really just teaching my kids how to be quiet before the Lord and have their own personal quiet time. And we've gotten away from that, and I want to get back into that. So I want this year to get back to it, to make sure that even if we are not fully prepared for the school day, and I'll get into more of that, but that Bible time or quiet time with the Lord is happening, that it is a non-negotiable, and that is something that we are making a priority. And the beauty and freedom of homeschool is that I can make that a priority in our school. And so I want to get back to that and get back to getting my kids into the routine of waking up, we call it breakfast and Bible time, and just getting in and doing that time. The other thing that I think I've gotten away from, because I've been chasing this like some I don't know. I don't even know what I'm chasing. This vision, I guess, maybe. And then feeling like I said we were behind is I want to talk with the kids. I usually talk with them at the beginning of the year and ask them what they're looking forward to at the beginning, or what they're looking forward to throughout the school year. And then we make notes and things like that. I made notes in our homeschool bullet journal of that. So I want to get back in there and dive in again. We're about halfway through. So I want to come back and revisit that and talk to my kids and ask them, how do you think the school year is going so far? What are some things you want to change? What are some things that you were hoping we would get to, but we're not? So for instance, I know for my daughter, she really enjoys science activities. And we have a science curriculum that we've put on the back burner. So how can we make this fit into our day a little bit easier? Or how do we make sure we're getting our core stuff done so that we can get to this? I think that we are forgetting about it and just pushing it off. And so I want to talk with the kids and remind them that we have these really fun subjects that we want to do, or more fun subjects sometimes. And how do we get that into our day? How do we get that into our week? What kind of things do you want to do? What kind of field trips do you want to take? Let's talk about it again and get excited about homeschooling and all the opportunities that it brings. So that is something that we're going to go into this new year, just touching base on again and resetting our mind frame and our excitement for our homeschool year. I also want to get consistent with school. So like I said, with the move, kind of jolted us a little, and we did a bare minimum for a while, and then it was hard to ramp back up. So I think with the start of a fresh new year, calendar year, it also kind of helps make a new start in the homeschool year. And so I want us to get a little bit more consistent with school, get back into the rhythm of it, where the kids know, like, we get up, we do our morning chores, we do our morning things, we get into school, and we get it done. I tried to give them a little leeway of whether they wanted to school in the morning or the afternoon, just it needed to be done at some point in the day. But for these first few months at least, I think we need to get back into, this is school time and this is when school needs to be done. So they can get to the funner subjects, so we can get into the routine. I think these will all tie together. We will get our Bible in and then kind of slowly roll into the school day. And so I think these will all help hand in hand, but that is something that we also need to get back into the groove of doing school. So that leads a little into this last point of mine. I, as the homeschool mom, need to ask my family to give me space to correct papers, to print out worksheets that need to be printed for the upcoming week. I've not really set aside a time to get that done. I've not blocked out a period of when I want to get that done, and then I'm frustrated because the morning of, I'm trying to print out papers, or I am trying to figure out what their assignment is. In the move, we lost a math book and we've still not been able to find it. And I just need to figure out what we're doing and get on with it and stick with it. And in that, I need time to do some prep and things like that. Like I mentioned, I have a high schooler and his stuff does need to be graded. I need to make sure that he's getting the concepts down because he's doing a lot of the work on his own. And then he's supposed to turn in papers to me and things like that. Some of it we are doing together, but there's a lot of stuff like his math that he just kind of takes on and does on his own. So I need to carve out time to grade that, to make sure that he's got those foundations down before he moves on to the next subject. And I've just not carved out that time. I've not carved out that time, and I've not given my family notice that, you know, Wednesday afternoons for 2 hours, mom needs to sit down and grade and print or whatever it is. I don't even know if it would be 2 hours. I hope it doesn't take 2 hours to grade. It really shouldn't. But, or, you know, Saturday mornings, you know, you guys, mom's going to start getting up a little bit earlier and getting this done. I don't know, all these things. I'm not even sure which day. So that's something I need to sit down and do, is pick a day or pick 2 days and be like, this is where I'm going to carve out 30 minutes to grade. This is where I'm going to carve out an hour to do this. And then ask the family for help in that, because they'll need to give me the space to do that, right? That'll be the times when mom cannot grab a snack for them, or mom cannot sit down and do one-on-one time, or mom cannot you know, I don't know. Mom cannot during that time. She needs time. So that's what I'm going to ask the family to do. I think that I have tried to carve out the time, and then in all honesty, I've gotten frustrated because I'm not able to get the grading done, or I'm not able to get the printing done, but I didn't let anybody know that this is what I wanted to do. So how could they know to not interrupt mom during that time if I didn't tell them? So I would like to set out a little bit more of a time frame. Like I said, either pick, you know, Saturday morning, mom has to get this done, or Wednesday evening, whatever. I don't know. I'm just picking random days at this point, but we're going to pick a day. If you have a good day and time that works for you and you're like, I think this could work for you, let me know. I am open to suggestions. I need to just figure out when we can get this done to make it flow a little bit easier. And then the last thing that I really want to set out to do this upcoming year is to stop looking at other schools. So I have mentioned repeatedly about feeling like we are behind or we are trying to catch up. And one of the things that I really adored about homeschooling, there are so many, but one of the things is that you can meet your child where they are at. Having a special needs son really allows me to pick curriculum where it meets him. In all honesty, for all my kiddos, I pick where they're at and we go there and then we build on it. So maybe one of my kids is doing a grade level math, but they're doing what would be considered the previous year reading or the next year's reading. It can vary and change throughout the year so quickly. Reading, especially, I have realized that can be frustrating, feels frustrating at first because you think your kids need to be reading at a certain age, and if they're not, you can feel very hard on yourself that you are not doing something right, or there's just something that you're missing. But really, I have noticed, especially just in our home, especially with reading, that it'll come. Keep reading the books, mama. Keep introducing them to literature, whatever it may be, whatever their interests are. We do a lot of library trips and a lot of thrift videos where we're picking out books, and you can see in those videos that some of these books that we're getting, they're not fine literature, but it's getting my kids reading, it's getting them talking to me about the books. We do movie studies where we will read a book and then watch the movie, and that excites them. So once that clicks in them, it really clicks, and then you'll see your kiddos just soar through it. But that's a whole different thing. It's just what I was getting at is that you can meet them where they're at. And I think I was trying to chase this dream, or this, not even a dream, I was trying to chase this vision that I felt like they needed to be either where the public schools were, and they said they needed to be at the brick and mortar, more traditional type. That's what I was looking at and thinking, wow, why aren't we there yet? And that's not why we went into homeschooling. That's not what I fell in love with, is that I needed to get them at this level because somebody said this is the level they need to be at this grade or this age. I went into it being like, we can explore so much, and I can meet you where you're at, and you can really learn to thrive in school. And so I want to get back to more of that, and remembering that I'm not behind anybody. They don't need to catch up to anybody. This school is going to look different than your school, and your school is going to look different than their school, and that is okay, and that is good. And it is just so great to see these kids that are thriving in school instead of feeling this constant weight. So I want to see if I can remove some of that with all of these different things that we have going on, and me myself get out of that mind frame of trying to catch up or trying to do all the things. We're going to take a step back. We're going to take a step back and remember why we enjoy homeschooling. We're going to get back into meeting them at their level and just getting them excited about school again, and getting me excited because I really love learning alongside them. It is great to watch your kids when they get a concept and it's new and you see them light up. It is just a beautiful thing to see, and I want more of that this year. So I think that is it for me. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. If you're new here, I would love to have you join our little family. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. And like I said, if you're new, maybe consider subscribing and joining our little family. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. If you haven't heard, or you just need to be reminded, may be the one to tell you that you are deeply and truly loved and so appreciated. I really appreciate you taking your time out and spending it here with me. Thanks so much for joining me. Thank you to Abby and Jessica for hosting this collab. It is so much fun. I look forward to doing it every month during the school year. Thanks so much for watching.